Hi guys, welcome to Easy Peasy Gardening. I'm your gardener friend Ruchi, and today we are going to talk about Coleus. So if you've seen my previous video, we grew Coleus from seeds, and they are actually a summer plant, and they're a delicate perennial, meaning you can overwinter them if you take them inside, and they'll probably survive. But otherwise, they are a warm weather plant. So, I grew it probably in summer. I mean, I sowed the seeds in summer, and in October, I transplanted them in these small plants. And then, because it was already getting colder, I moved them inside, and I was thinking that they're not going to grow that much. But they really grew inside. When I moved them inside, like this plant, it was this big, about 3 inches, and it became like 7 8 inches tall. And all other plants also, they were slightly smaller, and they all grew. So that was a surprise to me. I think they liked the warm weather or the warm climate of my house, because otherwise they like warm weather, 3 4 hours of morning sun, or maybe late afternoon sun. That's what they like. Well drained soil, and little bit of fertilizer. They like moist soil, not wet, not too dry, but a little bit moist soil. And the temperatures, they like warmer. So when it starts to get cold, they tend to die. And that's why I moved them inside, and they did so well. So now I am thinking that because they are growing so much, so here is my planter, and the plant is bigger than my planter, and the roots are coming out from the bottom. So I want to transplant it again. So I want to put all these three plants, actually there are 4 plants here, in this planter without disturbing the plants, so that they don't get a shock, because it's winter time. I don't want to give them a shock. And I hope they'll do better there, because now I can see that they have grown so much that the roots are coming out. So that's what I plan to do. So one more thing about Coleus is that you should check the package, because some of the Coleuses, they like more sun, some like partial shade, some like partial sun. So you should check the label of the kind of Coleus, and then accordingly you should put in the sun. And also, for better growth, it's always better to keep pinching the top of the plant. Like if it is growing too big, just pinch off the top leaves, so that it will become bushier. Because slowly what will happen is that they'll start to drop the leaves at the bottom, and then there'll be a plain stalk, and then there'll be leaves on the top. But if you keep pinching, then it will become bushy even at the bottom. And the same thing for the flowers, when they start to get flowers. Now some people like their flowers, but in general you should pinch off the flowers, so that more growth comes and the more foliage comes. Otherwise the whole energy of the plant will go in maintaining the flowers. So now I have this big planter, and I have home composted soil in this. So I'm just going to try to very gently just try to get them out of these planters. And yeah, look at this. So if you look at this, this is a little bit root bound, not exactly, but yeah, a lot of roots are there. And so that's good, because that means that it is liking the environment where it was kept, and that's why it's growing so much. And so I'm going to just put it here as it is. Just give it some support here before I move the other. And they are smaller, so I have to put some soil below those plants. Now I'm going to, so this one has 2, this is the dark color and this is just green and yellow. By the way, the dark colored plants, they can tolerate sun better than the light color. So again here, I can see that the roots are coming out. So it's good, they are enjoying a lot of roots. So let's put it here as it is. And then this fourth one. This also has two plants, one very small one. In the same case, lot of roots. So now just going to fill it up. And I'm going to just put it exactly where it was, because it seems like it's liking the temperature and the climate there. So I'm just going to keep it back there, and I'll report back how they are doing. So I have placed the Coleus inside because it's winters, and it's doing well after transplantation. And now I see that the two or actually three big plants have flowers coming on top. So this one is a little small, but this one is a little bigger. Now, I personally like the foliage more than the flowers, and flowers will consume a lot of energy. So I'm going to pinch it down. So here, that's it. So now what will happen is that all the energy will go in growing the foliage and not the flowers, and that's what I like in my Coleus. So maybe the new shoots will come out, or these small leaves, they'll grow bigger. So for this one, I'm going to wait till the stem looks clean to me, meaning it grows a little bit when I know exactly where the flower shoot is beginning, then I'll pinch it. And in this one also, it is just starting to appear, the flower shoot. So I'm going to wait. So it all depends on you. If you like the flowers, you can leave them on. I personally like the foliage more, so I'm going to pinch all the flowers. But otherwise, it's doing well after the transplantation, and it's growing pretty big actually. Now even the middle plant has these flower stems growing, and I'm going to pinch them off here. And I can see that two more are growing. I can actually pinch them off here. So our Coleus is growing really well. It has become really big, and the biggest plant has really taken over. The leaves are so big, and even this dark one, now it is almost as tall as the middle one, which was the biggest one. And I see that there is a flower stem coming out, so I'm going to just pinch it again. As I told before, that I like the foliage better than the flowers of the Coleus plant. These three planters I plotted in this planter, in this one, and I brought this inside because I wanted to see if it will survive inside, because it is otherwise it is called an annual. But since I uh, brought it inside and it gets a lot of sunlight in the room, it has been doing very well. And the planter that I left outside, actually that plant died there. So does not it is not able to bear uh, winters, mild winters. I mean, where I am, it doesn't snow or anything, but it is mild winters, and it died over there. And these plants which I brought inside are doing very well. And if you look at this plant, so this was much smaller than the big plant, this one, and now it is almost as tall as this one. So both of these are of the same height, although the leaves of this plant are growing so big. I mean, if you just look at, compare with my palm or my hand, it's like the size of my hand here. So uh, this is doing well. And of course I have been pinching off all the flower stems because they consume a lot of energy, and then the growth of the foliage uh, basically slows down because a lot of energy goes in maintaining those flowers, and I like the foliage more. So at least this part of my experiment was successful, that if you want to keep your coleus alive over winters and you give them a warm uh, temperature, then they survive the winters also. Now I'll keep it alive, of course, and in the next video I want to see if it will survive a couple of years. Meaning, see, right now this plant is probably about 8 months old, and so in 4 months it would have gone to summers, or at least spring, and then whether it goes into the second year or not, or does it die after a year or so. So I hope this video was useful to you. I have been trying to experiment with these plants, if they can be uh, made, I mean, if they can work as perennial or not, and it seems like they can. Although it's been only 8 months, so I can't really say, but at least they have survived the winter. So if you have any questions, leave a comment and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. If you like this video, press the like button and subscribe to our channel. And I'll see you next time. Happy gardening. Bye.